Hey guys, what is up? It is Mandy, and I'm in my bed, and I wanted to make a video, because I just thought of a good idea for a video. Like, off the top of my head, I was just like, wait a second, I should totally do that. So hey guys, this is a little bit different of a video than what I usually do, and I'm gonna use a brush to make that less bumpy. Um, First of all, you guys probably noticed that my hair is a bit different. I got some highlights going on. I got my highlights touched up and my hair done today. So that's why it's all straight and pretty and highlighted and awesome. So shout out to my hairdresser, Nancy. She's awesome. I absolutely love her. She always knows how to make my hair look beautiful and natural, but still like got something going on. So yes, shout out to my awesome hairdresser, Nancy, for that. So this video is going to be about 50 Shades of Grey. And the reason why I'm going to do this is going to be my own personal review of the movie. So if you guys are, diehard fans, I mean, at least I thought I was. I'm a very big fan of the books. I've read the first one, and I'm into the second one, like halfway through. So I haven't read all of them, but I definitely do like the books. I don't necessarily think they're well written, but I just find the books to be very interesting, and for some reason I just like keep on reading them. So this is going to be my own personal review of the 50 Shades of Grey movie because I saw it last night with my best friend, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys, so if you don't like brutal honesty, you can go bye-bye. But I did not love it, but I did not hate it. I am sort of in the middle spectrum of the movie liking, because there were parts of it that I really thought stayed true to the book, and then there are also other parts of it that I wish there was more. So I guess what I'll start with is generally the actors in the movie. So the two main actors, Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan, I think his name is. I want to look it up so I'm like accurate because I don't like talking about actors in inaccuracy. So 50 Shades of Grey. Cast. Yes. Okay, so the cast. Yeah, so Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson. So I just want to talk a little bit about both of them and what I thought of their acting jobs, or like not necessarily just the acting, but like how I thought they fit the characters. So, I guess, and this is also from, I love acting and film stuff, so like this is also from that perspective. So I guess I can like throw a lot of things in, hopefully. And if you guys disagree, like please disagree like politely. Don't like come at me and like be crazy or anything. So if you're like diehard fans of the movie, please don't attack me. Because I'm gonna be honest and say it wasn't the best movie. But there were very good parts of it in the movie, like as well. So there was good and not so good. So first of all, we'll talk about the actors, like I said. So Jamie Dornan, when I found out that he was Christian Grey, I, to be honest, was a little disappointed. I, not because he's like not a good actor, because I think he is, and I think he definitely tried really hard to portray Christian in this movie, but I did not see him like physically being able to play Christian Grey. Like how I envisioned Christian Grey, he was going to be like this muscular, taller, sort of pale guy with like blue eyes and blonde hair. Like that's how I was envisioning Christian Grey. Sort of like Carlisle from Twilight a little bit, like what he looks like, but obviously like probably not as old and definitely way more muscular and like hotter. Not to say he's not hot, but like a younger version of him and a more buff version of the guy that plays Carlisle in Twilight. That's sort of what I was envisioning for Christian Grey. And I wasn't envisioning him to be that short. Although I do think Jamie Dornan is very, very attractive, and I think he's very hot. I just felt like if he is a dominant, like, he should be, like, way taller, I feel like, than Jamie Dornan. That's at least how I saw it. And let me know if you guys feel the same way. So I wasn't thrilled that Jamie Dornan was playing Christian, but, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's a great actor. I'm going to be surprised. I'm going to be wowed. And he did a decent job trying to play Christian. There were some parts, of course, that weren't necessarily believable. So, like, I don't know, there were parts, like, when he was, like, very aggressive and stuff, like, wasn't all believable to me. I don't know, like, I just felt like he was trying really hard to be Christian, and there were parts where he wasn't fully there, you know what I'm saying? And it's very hard, obviously, as an actor to stay completely in character, like, the whole time, but since it is film, like, you can always cut and edit things, so I feel like, there's a little bit more leeway with that. So it's more towards the actor's advantage, I feel like, so you can really, like, get in the zone, and there's always multiple takes and everything. But, I think he tried really hard. I think he did a decent job, but again, I would have preferred somebody definitely that doesn't physically look like him. Although his characteristics that he did bring to portray Christian were pretty accurate. There were things I was missing, though, about Christian's backstory that I wish were brought into the film a little bit more. Like, they sort of briefly mentioned the fact that Christian's mother was, like, a crack addict or whatever, and she was, like, crazy and, like, would beat him and stuff. But that was only mentioned, like, very briefly, and she was also asleep. Like, Anastasia was asleep, like, half asleep, like, laying on the bed, like, when he was telling her this, and I thought, maybe they should be sitting down and having an actual conversation about it. So that's what I personally thought about that. I just thought it was sort of, like, lightly thrown in, if you know what I mean. I think it should have definitely been more of, like, a focus, because I went with somebody who didn't read the books to see the movie, and she didn't understand why he was so fucked up and twisted, and he also only said, "I'm 50 shades of fucked up" once in the entire movie, and I think it was after he punished Anastasia in the movie. So it was, like, a little, like, okay, like, you're sort of stating facts, but, like, where is the evidence? Like, why are you fucked up? Like, I feel like they needed to give a little bit more backstory to Christian. I feel like because it was filmed mainly from Anna's perspective, it was a little bit harder to do, but I don't know, like, I feel like he should have explained and went more into depth with that. I know the book doesn't necessarily go very deep into that, but it definitely went deeper than the movie did into Christian's past. And I know the second book talks more about it as well. But I think it should have definitely had more of that element, because my friend didn't understand, like, why is he 50 shades of fucked up? Like, she only got that one part when he was, like, telling her when she was half asleep. Like, I didn't get that. Like, I didn't get why that was the time he chose to tell her. Like, it didn't make sense to me, because it's a very, like, serious thing. Like, you don't just lightly say, oh, by the way, my mom's, like, a crack addict, like, just out of the blue, casual, like, whatever, it's everyday life. Like, it's definitely not. And, another thing that I thought was a little messed up and sort of on the side of abuse a little bit was the punishment part of the movie when he is spanking her with, like, a vlogger or whatever, or a whip, I don't know, either one of those two things. And she was clearly crying, and you could, like, hear her crying and obviously see the tears. I think it was clear, I mean, if we're being realistic, I feel like, Christian would have heard her crying, you know what I'm saying? Because she was pretty loud, like, crying, like, not, like, wailing, but she was definitely, like, you could hear that she was tearing up and that she was crying. And he didn't stop. Like, he hit her 6 times. And by the third time when he did it, like, you could hear her crying. And I'm like, why didn't he stop? And he was also getting turned on by it, which I thought was really fucked up. Like, you could see, like, his eyes sort of roll in the back of his head as he is, like, hitting her. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I knew he was 50 Shades of fucked up. It definitely described that in the book and everything with the whole punishment and whatnot. But when I saw it on screen, it was, like, a totally different, like, emotion that I got. Because I felt like in the books, I could relate and sort of understand from both perspectives, both Christian and Anna. But in this one, I was taking Anna's perspective completely. And I couldn't see Christian's perspective and, like, why he was doing this to Anna. And I was just, wow. I was, like, in complete shock. I was like, oh my god, like, this is way more abusive than what I was picturing, like, in the book. Like, yeah, it's very aggressive, abusive, on the lines of abusive, but, like, I definitely didn't picture it to be exactly that. And the fact that she was crying and he didn't stop is really fucked up. Like, it worries me. Like, that's something that I think is on the line of abuse. And I didn't understand why that turned him on. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it should have been more explained, like, why that was such a turn on for him. Because he was beaten as a child. And I'm gonna assume Mrs. Robinson obviously beat him because he was her submissive or whatever. So I'm like, okay, so maybe he's used to being beaten up, but, like, I'm sure he didn't like it when his mom used to beat him up. But then all of a sudden he likes it when Mrs. Robinson beats him up. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't read the book in, like, a while, so I might have forgotten a couple of details, but, like, seriously, I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it because it wasn't explained from his point of view. They sort of just kind of, like, threw a lot of stuff in there and didn't explain further. And I wish, like, there was further explanation or that we saw more of his past, like, in the movie, is mainly what I'm saying. And also, like, I guess I'll talk about Dakota Johnson because I thought she was really great, honestly. I thought she did a great job overall with the portrayal of Anastasia. I thought they definitely cast her right. Because I think she really fit the role of Anastasia, and I could see, like, the innocence and the ignorance to this world, and also the fact that she's a virgin and, like, all this stuff is happening. Like, this is not, like, your ordinary introduction to sex. And also the playroom. Oh my god, in the movie I was like, holy shit, if I saw that stuff in a room, I would have ran out, like, the second I saw it. Like, I don't even know. I understand, but I don't understand why she would even put herself in that position and say yes and, like, agree to trying any of this, because it's not like she's in love with him, you know? Like, they just met and whatnot. It's sort of, like, not realistic in some senses, you know? But I felt in the book it was more realistic for some reason. I don't know. Maybe the description was more clear, but I was like, wow, like, she sees this room, and obviously she doesn't agree to it right away, but yeah, so that's something. I also thought she was more assertive, Anastasia, in the movie when they're going over the rules and they're having the meeting and they're both sitting down, and she's, like, going over the rules, like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. I thought she was more, like, assertive than she was in the book. Like, in the movie, she was more assertive when she was saying what she wanted and what she didn't want than in the book, in my opinion. Or at least it was portrayed as more assertive, and I really appreciated that. I really liked that. It sort of, like, made me like, yeah, go females, you know? So, but yeah, I definitely thought, you know, she was able to do that really well and give it definitely justice. So I was definitely very pleased with that. Overall, I was pleased with Dakota's performance. I just thought she was very believable. And at the end, oh my god, it was heart-wrenching. I was like, goodbye, Christian, or, like, Christian and Anna. And that's, like, how they first met. Like, after they first met, that's exactly what happened. The elevator closed. I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of just did. It's just, like, it's a moment. I knew it was going to happen, though. That's the only thing that I must say. It was a little predictable. it was a lot of predictable, and it was sort of like cliche ending. That's what I will say. But it definitely makes me want to see the next one, of course, because it leaves you at sort of like a cliffhanger, and you know that if there's a second book, then there's gonna be a second movie, you know, and Christian's gonna like find Anastasia again, and something's gonna happen, you know. So that's not goodbye forever. But overall, I thought it was. I'm gonna give you my honest rating. I think it was a 3 out of 5 stars. Just because it left me like emotionally torn. Like at the end, like I just had mixed feelings about it. Like I wasn't liking it, but I wasn't hating it. I was like in the middle. I was indifferent about the movie. I didn't know how exactly to take it in completely. I mean, I thought the parts when they were like acting all coupley and going on dates, like flying in the airplanes and stuff, I thought that was so cute, and I thought they were so like beautiful together. But you understand and you feel bad for Anastasia, like because of how the movie is filmed from her perspective. And, I did feel bad for Anastasia in the books, but I also understood where Christian was coming from as well. So I guess I wish I understood from both perspectives in the movie as well as I did in the book, because I didn't really understand from Christian's perspective, like, what was going on. Like, I understood his objective. That was obviously made very clear, like, when he wanted her to sign the agreement to be his submissive. But, like, I don't know. That's just what I think. I think I've said a lot. I sort of had like a lot of opinions like jumping out at you guys randomly, but yeah, that's overall sort of what I thought of the movie. Would I see it again? Yeah, maybe once. But I'm not gonna see it again in theaters. I'll wait till it comes out on like DVR or something so I can watch it at my own leisure. Yeah, I don't know. I was sort of disappointed a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't as good as the books. Oh, one quick side note that I thought was sort of disturbing, and I guess it might have been a director's choice. The fact that she had pubic hair made me really uncomfortable, because I'm like sitting there like watching this and I'm like, oh, I like see the side of her and I'm like, ah. And you can see her leg hair as well, which I noticed. Like, at the angle they were filming, you could see her leg hair, like, prickling out, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't like this. It was just, like, very, give me this, feeling, like, unclean, like, you have body hair that I don't like, and I don't need to see. It just made me feel a little too uncomfortable. Because it's like, girl, don't you own a razor? Like, all girls shave their legs nowadays, or at least a majority. And it's not like this is like back in the olden days, like this is the 21st century, Like, I would understand if, it was back in like, I don't know, early 1900s or something. That's not really the olden days. But, like back in the early 1900s or something, like I would understand. But girl, it is the 21st century. This is 2015. Like, almost all girls shave their legs, and they're, down theirs. Not every girl, but I know a lot of girls do, and it's a very common thing, or at least a bikini wax. I'm like, girl, like, you need that shit, because I ain't like what I'm seeing. I really, like, didn't want to see that. Like, it was very uncomfortable. Like, it would have been fine if she was shaved, but she wasn't. And I'm like, gross. Put that away, Put that kitty cat away. So that's just what I thought. But yeah, that was one thing. And then obviously the beating made me very uncomfortable. Like the whipping, like the punishment made me very uncomfortable. So yeah, but I guess it's I guess it's sort of supposed to do that. And also I've heard like a lot of things that this isn't an accurate like portrayal of BDSM. Like, this isn't, like, an accurate portrayal. This is sort of on the borderline of abuse. So I definitely believe that with the punishment stuff, but the other stuff was fine. Like, honestly, like the sexual stuff, like when she was actually being pleasured and like having a good time, like that was all fine, you know, and dandy. But the punishment, I was like, oh my god, he's like torturing the living hell out of her. Like, stop it. I wanted to like go up there and be like, you're an asshole, dude. Like, you're a douchebag, Christian Grey. Like, he made me think, I thought he was a douchebag at the end of the movie. That is honestly what I thought, and in the books, I didn't feel that way. So that's why I'm like really, it's like two different feelings. Like, I left the movie feeling like he's an asshole, she deserves better, she needs to move the fuck on with her life. But in the book, it's like, wow, like this is really dramatic and intense. But I hope they get back together, because, you know, like she doesn't understand him completely, and, you know, he has a fucked up past, but it's what makes him who he is. And I still liked him. I still liked Christian at the end of the book. At the end of the movie, I was like, fuck this. I'm like, yo, he just, like, abused her. Like, just leave. Just don't ever go back to him. But in the book, like, I was like, wait, is this really how it ends? Are they really not gonna get back together? But then I knew there was a second book, so I'm like, something's gotta happen. So, you know, that's my honest opinion, my honest review of 50 Shades of Grey. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll do some more movie reviews for y'all. But I definitely want to give you guys my review about this because it's a very controversial film, and so many people have been like talking about it. It's like the film of the 2015, you know, like everybody's talking about it, everybody's seeing it. So yeah, I thought I would just give you guys my little review. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want any more videos like this, and I will definitely do that because I love giving film reviews. So yeah, as per usual, feel free to like and comment down below if you guys have any awesome things to say, and subscribe because you might love me. You maybe, if you keep watching my videos and stuff. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye!